On a slow roller. Chris Johnson. Tough hop. Had trouble getting it out of the glove. And Braun beat. And Freddie Gonzalez will come out. We're going to probably have a challenge. From every angle we've shown, clearly Ryan Braun was out. And he is. So Ryan Braun will be retired on a 5-3 putout. Freddie Gonzalez is batting 1,000.
All right, folks. Unfortunately, that's what Major League Baseball has now become. Instant replay, challenges, and I don't like it. And I'm very happy to see and to hear and to read in his great column today at the Washington Times that Charles Hurt doesn't like it. Hey, Charles.
Hey, Steve. How are you doing?
It's I can't take it. I'm going to the Knicks-Nets game tonight with my son at the Garden. We're going to root for the Nets. And, you know, that's become a joke down the stretch where, you know, they go to the replay for everything, and a team who's out of timeouts winds up getting like 5-6 minutes to rest.
Yeah, it's really incredible. And you know, for somebody like me, one of my favorite things about watching a baseball game is the guts that it takes for a coach to come charging out of the dugout when he feels like one of his players has been wrong. And it took real guts. And you had to stand up for what you believed in. And you know what? At any moment, you might get thrown out, but you did it anyway. And that's a wonderful lesson about life. But now they have this whole thing where you know, they're just codifying the whining and the complaining in baseball. And to me, I agree with you. It takes a very important element out of the game, and also not to mention the fact that it totally eviscerates the umpires on the field to the point that it's kind of not even worth yelling at them anymore because they don't have any authority.
No, could you imagine? I mean, I grew up a Yankee fan, Billy Martin era. Can you imagine if Billy Martin, instead of coming out, and Lou Piniella, instead of kicking dirt and throwing bases with the Yankees and the Reds, and all he did was throw a flag out of the dugout?
Yeah, and that's exactly the point. Billy Martin didn't need a process by which to file a formal complaint, and because he was bigger than that, and so many of these guys are, and the thing that bothers me the most about it is, you know, if you know, nobody wants blown calls in any sport, and not in baseball. You have them sometimes. There is no getting around that. But if what baseball wants to do is to make it a perfect game where there are never any mistakes, then we should go to pitch track and have the balls and strikes called by a machine and just get rid of the umpire behind the plate.
Well, I got a better one, Charles. How about we just input the statistics of these players heretofore into the computer and let the computer pick the winner?
That's even better. And that way we don't even have to sit and watch the game or suffer through all those the long instant replays. Now we could just, like you said, just press a button and then boom, we have a victor.
You know, I never liked
how much we could save, how much money we could save by doing that.
I never liked the designated hitter. I thought it took strategy out of the game where the pitcher, you know, would bunt or hit. We don't have bunting in the game anymore. I don't like. I'm a traditionalist, I guess, in most forms of affair, and I don't like the instant replay in any of the sports. You know why? Everything you've mentioned, absolutely true. But here's the thing: we've come to this point without instant replay. Yeah, there have been mistakes. They even out. It's a game played by humans. Just because we have the technology, as you alluded to, doesn't mean we have to go there.
Yeah, and you know, I have a daughter. She's 12 years old, and I'm convinced she will grow up to become a Supreme Court justice. She could argue bark off of a tree. She never backs down from anything, and we'll go to a game, and an ump will get a call wrong, clearly get a call wrong. And she will spend the rest of the game arguing about it. She'll argue with me about it. She'll argue with her mother. She'll argue with the people sitting in front of us or behind us. And it's a wonderful lesson in life that, sweetheart, there's nothing you can do about it. You have to just go on. You got a bad call, and you know what? There's only one thing you can do is win the game now. You have an extra reason to try to win the game because you've got to erase that bad call. And it's, you know, it's a wonderful lesson. That one of the many wonderful lessons that a kid can learn from going to baseball games.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, it's a great sport, and I don't like what I'm seeing now. Barack Obama was at it again, Charles, yesterday. He had the Boston Red Sox to the White House, to the Rose Garden. I went with the Mets in '86 with Ronald Reagan. That was the thrill of my life.
Wow.
But shows how old I am. But anyway, here's Obama trying to act like he knows sports again. Let's roll this one.
And every man behind me did his part to keep the team rolling. There was Xander Bogaerts, the upstart rookie who took over at third base and didn't let up. The tested veterans like my fellow Hawaiian, Shane Victorino, and Mike Napoli, who came in during the offseason and shook off the rust and the injuries to secure win after win.
Mike Napoli. Did he invent the cannoli? I mean, it's Napoli. This guy does it all the time. And wait, it gets better because I had George Will on, who's written a great book about the Wrigley Field Chicago White Sox. You're familiar with the fact that he said to Bob Costas that Wrigley Field was not Wrigley, that Comiskey Park was Kaminsky Field. Well, Will took it a step further before I could say it, and he said this. Watch this.
When Mr. Obama came out to throw out the first pitch at Nationals Park in 2009.
He wore the White Sox stuff.
He wore the White Sox stuff, and the local broadcasters who weren't trying to be mean, they're just sports guys trying to be good hosts, asked him some of his favorite White Sox players, living or dead.
He couldn't name one?
Not one. So, it's hard to go through life entirely synthetic without tripping up.
It's hard to go through life entirely synthetic without tripping up. And that interview, which I also played earlier, and I play it all the time, when the national announcers asked him, who's your favorite White Sox player growing up or now? Well, I like some of the Cubs players too. And then he goes on for a minute and he says, actually, I grew up in Hawaii, so I was an Oakland A's fan first. But he never mentioned one player on any team. This guy is as phony as a $3 bill.
Well, and he had that line during the thing yesterday where he said may the best Sox win. That's a moment where if he were being genuine, I would admire it. I admire a politician who has his team and sticks with it. But of course, as you say, when beneath the surface, it is totally fraudulent, completely phony, entirely made up, and it's all because the campaign decided in 2008 that the White Sox are this sort of underdog, and that's who he's fighting for, and that's why he aligns himself with the White Sox. It really is. It's a disgrace to baseball. Not to mention the fact that it makes him. As you say, as funny as a $3 bill.
All right, now what'd you think of his other appearance yesterday with Joe Biden, where they took their victory lap, spiked the football, whatever you want to call it, where they announced the $7.1 million, and then he went on to rip Republicans and claim he'll work with anybody. And why do Republicans want to take health care away from people? And of course, Rand came out today, or at least a study was revealed today. It's been hidden apparently. That shows that about 860,000 people actually who did not have health care have it now and have paid for it. So the 7 million number, look, Charles, they kicked 6 million people off their policy last year. So the fact that 7 million people signed up, what does that mean? What did that accomplish?
Yeah, Steve, I don't ever remember reading, when you read the stories today, where every single major newspaper out there went for this little fantastic fantasy world where they did the Between the Ferns interview, and it turned everything around and it bumped them up to 7 million people enrolled in Obamacare, and absolutely not a word of questioning about these numbers, which are totally fraudulent. As you point out, there are all those people that got kicked off. The percentage of people who are signed up for Obamacare who had previously not been insured is not it's not 7 million. It's nowhere near 7 million. It's in the hundreds of thousands. And of course, the whole reason that we did Obamacare was to insure people that were not currently insured. So totally bogus.
It is totally bogus. All right, I want to end this. I want to let you hear. We have it queued up again. This is Obama. I wish you could see the picture because he came out to throw that first pitch out several years ago at the Nationals game. He had the Nationals jacket, then he pulls out the White Sox cap, and he threw the ball like over everybody. Okay, but keep that in mind. So they're showing this while they got him in the booth and they're talking to him. You got to get a load of this. Listen to this.
I want the Nats to do well. I love them. It's great for the city, but I'm a South Side kid, and I've got to make sure that Jerry Reinsdorf doesn't get too angry with me.
And having played with the White Sox for a short time, I know how the Cubs fans and the White Sox fans go back and forth. Who's one of your favorite White Sox players growing up?
I thought that, the truth is that a lot of the Cubs I like too. But I did not become a Sox fan until I moved to Chicago. Because I was growing up in Hawaii, and so I ended up actually being an Oakland A's fan.
I got to tell you, my son and I last night, because I said, come here, watch this again. We cracked up for like 30 minutes playing it over and over. And it's like humana, but worse.
If only the White House press corps was that tough on him and asking about Obamacare.
It is great. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Hillary. Remember when Hillary was running for the Senate? She said she grew up in Chicago, so she was a Cubs fan. But the Cubs would depress her when they lost all the time in the afternoon. So then she would watch the Yankees, who played at night, and they did very well. And I was wondering, how the heck did she watch the Yankees, on cable or satellite when she was growing up?
It was the internet. She was on the internet.
Oh my God!
She had invented it, but
right.
But hadn't shared it with the rest of us.
They know no shame, I'll tell you. Charles, great column, great to talk baseball, even though it's kind of a cockamamie way to talk baseball. But thank you, sir.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, take care. Charles Hurt, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, I can't get enough of that. I could do that over and over and over. I mean, it's the President of the United States lying. Now, George Will knows it. He sees it. He understands it. I know it. If this was George Bush lying about something like that, they called him an idiot. Oh, I'm a big opera buff, or I'm a big science fiction reader, or I read the great novels, or whatever. They would sit him down and they would question him and pepper him and test him and try to make a fool out of him. And Obama, anybody with a brain knows this man's lying through his teeth. White Sox fan, my nose. He doesn't know where they play. He doesn't know the name of the old stadium. He can't name one player. And the excuse? He likes the Cub players too, who he can't name. And he originally was an Oakland A's fan. And he can't name any of them either. Come on, really, enough. Just enough with this persona, this cool guy, big sports fan. I'm a South Side guy. You might be a South Side guy. Doesn't make you a White Sox fan. We're coming back. Steve Malzberg Show right here on Newsmax Television.
We don't just talk about the news, we talk to those making news. This is the Steve Malzberg Show.
Tonight.